Hello, hello, and welcome to the All In podcast with Nate Pao. Of course, I'm your host, Nate Pao. My guest today is Meredith Marsh. Meredith is a total introvert with millions of views on YouTube, dedicated to helping your side hustle thrive with video. Meredith's mission is to guide smart, creative people through starting and growing a profitable side hustle using YouTube so they can take ownership of their ideas and become a boss of their own future. Meredith is also the host of Your Thriving Side Hustle podcast and creator of Video Pursuit Society, a membership program to support side hustlers through bite-sized actions, or is that bite-sized actions, to increase their audience and income online. Welcome to the show, Meredith. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
What? I'm glad you're here. Totally excited about this. I was about ready to jump into the first question before even I was that excited. So, what are you doing being an introvert on YouTube? Because I'm considered myself an introvert for most of my life. And if you met me, you'd probably say, no, you're not, because you go out and you do all these networking. You're always trying to chat with people and build relationships. Just like, but I always resonated as an introvert. So,
Mhm.
what is the story behind being an introvert and deciding you need to be on YouTube?
Well, interestingly, I recently discovered that I'm actually probably an inhibited extrovert technically, and probably you are too.
Hmm.
And so I've always been at I've never been an on-stage person, never thought, ooh, I want to be in front of a camera. I just had this idea to start a blog and a YouTube channel, and the only way to do that was to talk to a camera. So once I did it, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting to see my face on a screen. And it wasn't so bad. And so I just kind of improved. But I think that introvert label is something that's really easy to hide behind for a lot of people. And it's really not an excuse anymore. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The introvert label gets uh, abused in the sense, like when I think of myself as being an introvert, I think of being shy and awkward in junior high,
Hmm.
right? And shy and
Yeah.
awkward in high school. And why was I that? I think everybody was a bit shy and awkward, but I would consider like that reinforced beliefs of like, oh, you're awkward, so it's weird to go to an event or some place where there's a bunch of people you don't know, so you'd rather not go, or if you do go, you don't know what to
Hmm.
say to people, so you don't know how to begin, so you just kind of like
Hmm.
self-fulfill the prophecy. But
Yeah.
once you kind of like figure out, like for me, you have your, like everybody has their own unique way of fitting in and being themselves and doing it. And so I think the struggle is you think you're supposed to act a certain way when you go places,
Hmm.
and because it doesn't feel natural to you, like
Hmm.
it makes you like feel self-conscious about it. So if you
Yeah.
say, okay, you got to go to this place and you got to like be really gregarious and tell jokes and be the center of the life. The part, if that's not you, it feels weird. But if you know, like,
Hmm.
hey, my thing is to kind of like chill out and hang out in the corner, and then I start having a conversation with somebody to warm up, like all of a sudden it's like not so bad, and then you don't really
Hmm.
feel like an introvert because you're having these good conversations with people. So I totally
Yeah.
agree with what you're up to.
Yeah, but
So.
my favorite thing is to say like if you feel uncomfortable at an event or something because you feel like you're an introvert, nobody knows that you're not an extrovert. So you can just pretend. No one's going to know. You're the only one that knows that you feel uncomfortable. So just pretend that you're not uncomfortable and no one's going to know the difference.
Well, that, and also when you realize like everybody is in some form of uncomfortableness that you are
Yeah.
too. So like
Yeah.
just be the person that is the outgoing one. Like if you're waiting for somebody to come say hi to you, be the
Mhm.
one that goes and says hi to somebody else, because somebody out there is waiting for you. So let's talk a little bit about like you created a YouTube channel, you created a blog, and I think that's something a lot of people scares the the pants off people, whether you're introverted or extroverted, right? Because you're putting
Mhm.
yourself out there for people
Mhm.
to look and see what you're about. And what brought you, like, talk a little bit about what your first blogs, your first videos were about, and what your kind of desire was to start, I guess, sharing your voice with the world, and what led up to that, and where have you, gone since?
Hmm. Well, I have a background in web design. So I started a freelance web design business years ago when my husband was in Iraq. He was deployed, and I thought, this is a perfect time to start a business. I didn't have anyone around to tell me, no, don't do that. Go get a regular job. So I just did what I felt like. And so I was definitely familiar with the online space, but at some point I realized there's people just like making money for their job by creating content. How does that work? So I started asking questions like, how does that work? How could I do that? And so I kind of kicked around a lot of ideas for a couple of years, really trying to think what would I blog about if I was going to start a blog. And I essentially waited for an idea to come to me. I was at this time I had a full-time job. I had two little kids. My husband was home from Iraq at that time. And I just felt like time was moving so quickly. My kids were growing fast. And I was like, man, what can I do to like make sure I'm being really intentional with my time with my family? And that led to, oh, I know, we could create really fun family videos together. And I'm kind of a tech nerd, I guess you could say. I'm a gadget person. Um, so I bought a GoPro camera and I sent them outside to play in the snow, and we created this cute little video. And I thought, why aren't other people doing this? And I realized other people aren't creating family videos because they don't know how, and they don't even realize that they should be doing something other than just dropping them on Facebook, and then forgetting about them. So that was kind of the light bulb moment where I thought, oh, I know, I could blog about creating family videos, capturing photos, like stuff like that. And the more research that I did, doing keyword research and all those like nerdy little things, I realized there's not a lot at the time. There wasn't a lot of content around how to use a GoPro camera or edit GoPro videos. There was content, but it wasn't coming from a mom. It wasn't coming from even like a dad, like nothing family related. It was all people like surfing and jumping out of airplanes and
Well, and
mountain
you know what
biking and
it's
stuff.
interesting about that is like a lot of times people want to get started doing something, but they're like, oh, it already exists. Like, why should I
Mm-hmm.
create? But at the same time, there's like you're teaching the same thing. How do you use a GoPro? How do you edit videos? Like you're teaching, yeah, it's the
Mm-hmm.
same content, but it's never
Mm-hmm.
heard from somebody you relate to. And like you're
Right.
right, there's a lot of moms that are like, hey, I didn't know how to do this because I never thought to use it that way because I always thought it was just for surfing and jumping out of airplanes and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you start creating like your niche of who you are talking about it, like then it's good. So
Mm-hmm.
sorry to interrupt you about that, but I
That's
wanted to
right.
point that one out.
Yeah, yeah, no, that is a perfect example. I could have looked at that and thought, well, there's already people talking about how to create GoPro videos, but I mean, it was really obvious to me. I can't be the only one using a GoPro camera for family videos. I just can't be the only one on earth doing that. So, and could see that there was a lot of space there just from a content standpoint, where I knew I could create content that would show up in the search engine and stuff, because it was just GoPros were just kind of new-ish back then. This was in 2015, 2014, 2015. So I thought, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to help people create videos. And then it just seemed kind of obvious that if I'm going to be talking about videos stuff, I should probably create video content, because how else would you teach someone how to edit a video, other than a video tutorial? So I kind of looked around at what other people were doing on YouTube, which I wasn't really a big YouTube consumer at the time. So I had watched a few tutorials and people talking to the camera, and I just thought, well, they're just talking to the camera. I mean, I could probably do that. So I tried it, and it, worked out, and I enjoyed the process. So once I started creating that GoPro related content, I started getting traffic on my blog, started getting subscribers on my YouTube channel, and then I kind of branched out, talked about lots of different video editing, video creation stuff, but in the last year or two, I kind of pivoted more towards people who are creating videos as a side hustle, or, you know, as it relates to their actual business rather than as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at now.
That's an exciting journey. So, you know, you're talking about getting started doing videos with when the GoPros kind of came right out, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
started kind of going where not a lot of people were on YouTube or not a lot of people are creating. So a lot of that people might say like, oh, well, you got lucky. You started at the right time. Do you believe in luck? What do you think about that word luck?
Well, I've always liked the saying that you create your own luck. Um, I think, I don't know. I like the word advantage over luck. I think I had an advantage in the timing of my idea. Um, in that, yes, there were people in that niche talking about what I would be talking about. Um, but I had an advantage in that I could see that there was room for someone else to add a little bit of a different perspective. Um, and you know, I just went for it. And I mean, honestly, I think if you're looking for opportunities and you're keeping your eyes open and you're paying attention and you're asking questions and you're asking things like, how would this work? How could I make this work? Rather than, is this going to work? Or saying things like, well, that would never work for me. Like, there's a big difference there. So I think it's in how you look at it and the questions you ask yourself, whether you see luck or you see just seeing an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree that, you know, it's about seeing opportunity. It's about taking advantage of the opportunity. And some of it is like you're blessed enough to be there, right place, right time. But a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people are at the right place. They're just not ready to do anything about it. So you do have to take that action for sure.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, is YouTube still the platform it once was? I think there's a lot like when YouTube was first coming out, it was like the only place for videos, right? You went to YouTube for
Mm-hmm.
videos and you didn't go anywhere else. But now Facebook has videos, there's TikTok, there's Reels now. Like people are doing more video content on Instagram. Like, is YouTube still this niche to be like all focused in, or is it just part of the strategy? Or, you know, is YouTube still a good frontier to, you know, claim space and move your business into that area to promote it?
Yeah, that is such a good question. Uh, I I think it depends a little bit on you. I was going to say on your niche, but I think it's more on your own personal, like, what is your vision for what you're trying to create? The thing about YouTube that still makes it relevant and still makes it an advantageous platform to start out on is that it's a search engine. So, I mean, I cannot imagine any point in the future where we're not, you know, humans are not going to be searching for things, searching for how to do something, or searching for a solution or something. And so, as long as YouTube is on top of the search game, then it's going to be a great place to get visibility pretty quickly. With that said, though, with things like TikTok, TikTok's discovery algorithm is so smart and it's fast and it's really interesting. And it's a lot easier to create a 15-second TikTok video than, you know, a 15-minute YouTube video. So um, I think if other platforms, like with Reels coming out on Instagram and things like that, I mean, I think they could give YouTube a run for their money.
Mhm.
So it kind of depends. I mean, are you creating entertaining type of content? Then you should definitely be looking at TikTok. But if you're creating like tutorial based how-to videos and, you know, anything that's a little bit more complicated in terms of like explaining things, then YouTube is the place to be if you want to be discovered in search engines. Their recommendation algorithm is also really powerful as well.
Yeah, I totally forgot that YouTube serves as a search engine too. Like
Hmm.
you think of like, oh, I made a video, right? So I make a YouTube video, you upload a YouTube video, and you sit back and wait for all the likes and shares to roll in, like on TikTok or something. They don't happen. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like you can't go to TikTok and go, how do I do XYZ? And like it shows up,
Exactly.
and it's a good
Hmm.
quality video that's not something that's maybe semi-relevant, or the hashtag was the right hashtag, but the content has nothing to do with what you're
Hmm.
really looking for. So
Uh-huh.
you're probably right that as long as it's educational or instructional, I don't know,
Hmm.
there's a million things it could be, but it's
Yeah.
still that search platform that's going to be there. And I think a lot of people still put their videos up on YouTube, even though they
Hmm.
might be embedding the content other
Hmm.
places or repurposing it. It still lives on YouTube, and it still can get found, and it's still a vital um, tool to build traffic to your website. And so as I'm
Hmm.
saying this, I'm sitting here thinking like, I'm just not using YouTube very well at all right now. We gotta get out there and do a little bit better. So talk a little bit, you mentioned you work with a lot of people doing their side hustles, right?
Hmm.
So, you know, what are people's their objections to getting started on YouTube? What are the things that are usually their misconceptions about it? And what do you recommend to people to get over that, and why they should start moving forward into YouTube, and, just some general advice on what to do while you're getting started?
Yeah, YouTube is really, it can feel really overwhelming. At first, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of bells and whistles. In addition to just the fact that you have to like record a video and talk to the camera and edit the video and do all that stuff. There's, the title, the description, the thumbnails, the playlists, all that stuff. And so it's really overwhelming at first. And so what I see a lot is, well, I have to have everything perfect before I can publish my YouTube video. It has to be perfect, and my YouTube channel has to look perfect. And what's really funny about that is, if it's your first YouTube video and you don't have any subscribers, no one's going to see it anyway. So it doesn't have to be perfect. But you're not going to improve unless you start creating and publishing them. So and I hesitate to tell people that, because of course they want people to watch their videos. But it's like, if you don't start with something, then like no one is going to watch your videos, because they won't be there. So
Mm-hmm.
perfection is a big hurdle for people, and also deciding what content to create. Like what a lot of the people I work with are, what you might call multi-passionate. And they're like, well, I could talk about this. I could talk about parenting. I could talk about crafts. I could talk about cooking. And those are all completely different audiences, different niches. And it's hard to choose sometimes, what do I start with? And but again, you have to start with something. And you might create a couple of videos on, cooking, and decide, I don't want to create cooking videos, I want to create crafting videos. So just switch it up and experiment, and there's like nothing wrong with that. One of my favorite sayings is, action creates clarity. And this has been a game changer for me, honestly, because I am the type of person that can get stuck in thinking and planning and analyzing, but I don't know if that's going to work, or maybe I should try this. And we don't know. Nobody knows until you do it. And then, did it work or not? And then that's your decision. There's no possible way for you to know until you actually do something. And then whenever I get kind of hung up on that, all I have to do is like take a little bit of action, take one little baby step in one of the directions, and I like instantly know, like, yup, this is the way to go, or nope, this isn't going to work, and go do something else. But if you're just if you're just sitting in the car moving the steering wheel, you're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter where you point those wheels, they're not going anywhere. You have to actually, give it a little bit of gas.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about like nobody's gonna watch your videos, right? Because when I first started my podcast, I started thinking about posting more on social media. I started feeling like that introverted person like of me goes like, hey, what are you doing this for? People are gonna go comment negative on you, or what if
Hmm.
people like laugh at you, or What if nobody watches your stuff? And then I thought about it, and you go, there's two outcomes that could happen, right? Nobody watches it, so who cares, right? Nobody saw it, you got nothing to worry about. Or two, everybody saw it. And isn't that what you
Mm-hmm.
wanted anyways? Is for everybody to see it. So what are you worried about? Like either outcome, like it's a no lose outcome. And then the other part where you're talking about like getting started, like you're right. A lot of people like, oh, I got to get it all perfect, or I have to have my idea figured out, or I'm not sure which direction I want to go. Well, look at where you're at. You're doing side hustle YouTube, advice, coaching, taking ownership of your ideas, that type of stuff. That's not how you started. Like you
Right.
didn't have that idea, and how would you have been like?
Yeah.
You thought of that idea back when you started. You'd have been like, well, of course I can't do that. I have no experience. So how could I
Right.
teach this? But you just jump off and you just figure it out as you go, and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
evolves, and you kind of learn along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, what's the biggest tip you could give for somebody getting started with their growing their YouTube channel? Like what's some of the first things that they should start doing?
So you should be definitely looking to see if the video topics that you're thinking about creating, if there are people watching videos on those topics. Like a lot of times you might think, well, there's already videos on that topic, so I'll choose something else. But if there's videos on the topic and that those videos have, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of views, then people are watching videos on this topic, and that's a good sign, not a bad sign. So you want to kind of look for that. You may come up with ideas that are so obscure that you go and you search on YouTube and you're like, oh, there aren't really very many videos on this, or maybe there's a couple, but there's not very many views. Then you may want to branch out a little bit. So that's the first thing is like, before you even start doing real keyword research and getting all nerdy about it, just ask yourself, are people actually watching videos on these topics? I always have my clients and students start with making a list of 100 video topic ideas, because it sounds like a lot, but if you are like seriously thinking, I want to start a YouTube channel, if it's a little bit of a litmus test. If you can't think of 100 ideas, either because you run out of ideas or because you get bored thinking of 100 ideas, that's a good sign that you should do something else, a different niche. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do YouTube, but think of a niche that you could create 100 video ideas, just like let them like dump right out of your brain, because you want to know that you're not going to get bored with your topics. You want to know that you'd have enough stuff inside of your brain to be able to create the content and keep talking about it. And it doesn't mean that you publish videos on all 100 of those topics. It's just a brainstorming exercise. But start with 100 video topic ideas. And then once you start rolling, it gets easier because one topic can lead to like 10 other topics. And that's a good place to start for sure.
Yeah, I found that a bunch of times. Like you think, oh, I'm going to make this quick 5-minute explanation video. And you start into it and you're like, oh, this is going to be 20 minutes. And I barely scratched the surface of some other stuff. But what also happens is people ask you questions, right? So you give some, here's what you should go do. You go do these things and blah, blah, blah. People watch the video and they go, okay, but what about XYZ? You go, XYZ is another video. And so like
Yeah.
the content built upon itself. How
Mm-hmm.
often should you be creating content on YouTube? Is it an everyday thing, or is it a once in a week thing? Like what's kind of the idea behind that right now?
I would recommend once a week or more if you can. I think once a week is it's sort of a good expectation for viewers. And it's a pretty good side hustle. It's enough of a side hustle that it's a side hustle if you're creating and publishing videos once a week. If you can do more, that's great, but don't do so many that you get burned out to the point where you quit because you're like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, one video a week is only 52 videos. And you started with a list of 100 topics. You only have to do half of those. So when you break it down like that, 3 months is like 12 videos. So when you break it down like that, it's not as daunting. But if you can be consistent, I think it's good for the YouTube algorithm to be consistent, but it's also good for your own habits and your own rhythm as a content creator to have this regular workflow where you're prioritizing creating content.
Very cool. Yeah, definitely. Definitely good stuff. And when you said that, you go, yeah, make a list of 100. I'm thinking, man, that's a lot of stuff. And then when you said it's 2 years worth of content, you're like, that's a long time to be like thinking about doing something
Yeah.
for. So it was like both ends of the spectrum. It was like, oh my God, this is a ton of work. And oh my God, that's a really long time too. So let's talk about, somebody's out there, they're getting started. They've heard a little bit of information. They're about ready to do their YouTube. What does being all in mean to you in regards to being on YouTube or creating or just in general, like doing something you've never done before? What does that mean to you?
I think being all in means committing to a vision or a goal and sticking it through, regardless of what happens. Give yourself a year or something. When I started my YouTube channel, I thought I'm going to do this for a year. I'm going to post a video every week for a year and see what happens. And I didn't know, I had no context of like how many subscribers I should have or anything. I didn't even know that growing your subscribers was a thing you wanted to do. I had no idea. I was just like, I want to do this thing for a year. And so by the end of the first year, I had 2,000 YouTube subscribers, and I'm like, well, that's cool. I don't know if that's good or bad or fast or slow, but that's pretty cool. I guess I'll keep going. I think when it comes to being a content creator as a side hustle, you have to commit to your bigger vision of where it's going, like, because that has to take precedence over some other things in your life a lot of times. When I started my channel, I was working a full-time job. I was volunteering at my church. I was doing fundraising events for a local nonprofit. And I tallied up all of the money that I helped raise for a nonprofit in the 5 years that I helped them. And it was like $250,000, which I live in a super small town, but, and I didn't do that all on my own. It was part of a committee, but I thought if I helped raise $250,000 for this nonprofit, what could I do if it was my own vision? And so I stopped volunteering in the local nonprofit because I needed the time. I needed to put that creative energy towards my own thing. Otherwise, I would never have time for it. So I stopped doing it. I stopped volunteering in my church. And 2014 and 2015, I called it the year of no. And anytime someone asked me to do something, I said, no, I don't have time for that. And I put it all towards my business, my channel, so that I could still have time for my family. And so I just had to even though I didn't know where my business was going to end up, I had to make that a priority over other things in order to simply make the time for it, but also like the space in my brain to even think about it.
Yeah, that's important too. If you want to be all in on something, you want to make it a priority, you've got to, you only have so much time, so much mental resource you can devote for something, and those things they pull away from it, and you have to be able to, identify what's a priority. And that doesn't mean your business is the priority for everybody. It could mean that your volunteering is a priority for you, and your business could be taken away from that. So you have to really ask yourself, what is your priorities, and then really push yourself where it matters the most. So,
Mm-hmm.
I've pick your brain all day about this YouTube stuff. It's been a very fast and quick conversation, and I've loved every minute of it. So, um, talk a little bit about, you mentioned there you got viewers, right? And then you got
Mm-hmm.
people that you work with, some students. So who is that ideal audience that you're looking to get in front of, whether it's for viewers or for people that you actually are working with?
Yeah, I love to serve side hustlers because I was that person who was like sitting at my desk at a corporate job helping my employer build his business, asking myself, couldn't I do this for my own business? And so if I could just like laser focus in on that person who's sitting at work or commuting to work and asking themselves, what could I do to be on my own? What could I do to build something of my own? That is my ideal person. I feel like a camp counselor, and I want to gather up all those campers and say, come with me. Come with me. We're going to start something. So I love that side hustler, side business, creative type of person. And that makes up a lot of the members of the Video Pursuit Society, which is my membership program. And it's just, I love that this sort of like that person that's going to take action, not necessarily knowing what the outcome is going to be, but just doing it anyway because they feel compelled to use their creativity and their energy for their own ideas.
Mm-hmm. I love what you said about you're working for your boss and you're doing it for him and growing their business, right? And so I think a lot of times when we're in our jobs, we think, hey, I'm getting paid this much money, right? And if I lost my job, I could never be worth that value to somebody else somewhere again, or even myself. So we
Mm,
we don't pursue it. But if
mhm,
you think about it this, you say, if somebody would pay me this much money to do this for their business, don't you think I could get this much money or more serving more people or doing it for myself, especially if you're
mhm.
in like a creation, a marketing thing, like, hey, I could create this thing and teach other people to do it and promote myself. Like, yeah, I could probably do that. And so I think it's a strong thing a hard thing to get over is, um, valuing yourself for what, like, you could ask somebody to pay you. It's one thing to like
Mhm.
show up every day and get a paycheck and it just goes in your bank account. You don't really have to
Mhm.
go ask like every week, like, hey, do I get paid this week or not? But when you kind of get over that fear of asking for your value and really having
Mhm.
some trust in what you're worth to yourself, like, that's a big, powerful thing. So awesome
Yeah.
stuff. So where
Yeah.
can
And
people, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to just real quick interject something because you mentioned something. What if I lose my job? And I did lose my job. I had already started my blog and my YouTube channel, and my employer moved their headquarters to another state. And so I did lose my job. And so I think a lot of times people are like waiting for some like permission or a sign, or they're waiting for their side hustle to make enough money to leave their job or something. And that's actually the reason why it's so important to put your time in and build the foundation of your side hustle, because you never know when you're going to just like, meh, sorry, we don't need you working here anymore. It's like you think you're in control, and you think you're gonna, quit when you make enough money. But like in my case, I like to say they broke up with me first. And sometimes that happens. But if I hadn't started something, even though I wasn't making, even a fraction of my full-time job income, but if I hadn't started something, I would have had nothing to start building off of when I could put in the full-time hours in my own
I,
business.
I think that's a huge thing to point out is, like, if you had nothing, right, and you lost your job, are you going to go, oh, I got nothing, I better start this business because I got nothing else? Or are you going to start looking for a job and
Yeah.
then not pursue your business again? But if you have a platform that you've already
Mm-hmm.
established, so if you're sitting there thinking like, one day I'll do it, like, well, what if you did this for 5 years and then you decided you needed to do it full time, or you really wanted to lean into it? Like, wouldn't it be better to just have like a better base, even if you just kind of
Mm-hmm.
did it as a part-time hobby and it wasn't real consistent, but at least it
Mm-hmm.
was like had existed for a
Yeah.
period of time. Like,
Yeah.
those are years you can't get back. So I always encourage
Yep.
everybody, like, hey, get started, get go, even if you don't do it all in, because I've done it
Mm-hmm.
before. I've watched many, and I've, like, one of the reasons why I started doing what I'm doing this go around is I had started things at the same time others had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I was uncomfortable being like the face on the YouTube channel or being on Instagram, and like I just quit. I quit doing it, and the businesses weren't able to grow to where they needed to go, and I shut them down. But the other people that started around the same time as me, they didn't, and they have this like, massive
Mm-hmm.
head start, and a lot of them are like really successful doing really cool stuff, and it's really awesome to see that. But yeah, I always ask myself, like, what if you just kind of like stuck with it, even if you didn't do
Yeah.
anything with it, but like had a better base, like you'd have been such a better position now than you would have been. So I'm just like, you got to do it, even if you're not sure it's 100%, just get out there, do
Mm-hmm.
it. So awesome time chatting with you. Where can people go if they want to find you and get connected?
Well, you can look me up on all the social media platforms. I'm meredithmarsh.co on Instagram. If you search Meredith Marsh on YouTube, you'll probably find me. And you can, if you want to dive into YouTube a little bit more, you can download the Fast Way to 1K YouTube subscribers workbook at fastwayto1k.com.
That's awesome. That's a useful workbook. I think I'm going to download that myself. So that was download to well, one more time on that. I'm sorry.
Fastway to 1k.com.
Fast way to 1K. Well, awesome. Well, all those things will be in the links on the show notes, so you'll be able to find them if you want to get connected to Meredith. If you do reach out to Meredith and you do say hello, make sure you tell her you saw her, heard her on the All In podcast with Nate Pale. And please do reach out and support Meredith. I think she's doing some awesome stuff, and we barely scratched the surface, and I can already tell you have a wealth of knowledge in that inside there that would be very useful for anybody doing anything, whether YouTube is the main platform or YouTube is just a tool to, assist to what else you got going on. So awesome. Great chatting with you, Meredith. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.